unique, but there are similarities. We all want to find a cure and a community that will help support us in reaching that goal. And I was glad to find that community in the Arthritis Foundation and the San Francisco Walk to Cure Arthritis. 11 years ago, my life changed in some pretty dramatic ways. The first change was an exciting and really amazing one. It was the birth of my son, James. He was a healthy and adorable baby. And besides a lack of sleep, my life seemed pretty perfect. I was married to an amazing guy who's sitting here. We were living in this beautiful city, and I'd been able to quit my day job and focus 100% on my new job of being a mom. I felt extremely lucky. Then I started noticing that things maybe weren't so perfect. When you're changing, a dozen or so diapers a day, and unsnapping and resnapping, and buttoning and unbuttoning all the baby clothes, you really need your hands and your fingers to work. But mine weren't. My hands, my knuckles, and my joints, they were sore, and they were swollen, and they were tender. And then I started having issues with my feet and found myself hobbling around in pain every morning when I got up. And while the pain would wear off most mornings, and Advil helped a little, the pain and swelling always came back the next day, and flares in other joints became too frequent to ignore. So after a few calls and doctor's appointments and follow-up tests, I was told to go see a rheumatologist. And of course I Googled, rheumatology, rheumatoid arthritis. And all I saw were the mortality statistics and the disability rates and the pictures of joint deformities. And I was clearly a little nervous. When we finally sat down and I was told that by process of elimination, it did look like I had rheumatoid arthritis, I was overwhelmed. My mind raced back to all the information and images I had seen online. My mind went to my baby, sweet baby at home, and I was in a panic mode. Luckily, again, Brian was there, so he calmed me down. But the one thing I remember from that initial appointment was hearing the doctor say something like, "Oh, this is so exciting. This is a great time to have rheumatoid arthritis. It's so exciting." And he went on and on about how great it was. And I was just told I had a disease with no cure, and that I would be on drugs for the rest of my life, and that my immune system was causing damage and wreaking havoc on my own body. And I didn't feel excited about anything. I couldn't be optimistic at that moment. And looking back now, I realize I was fortunate that that was 2003, maybe, and not 1983. But at the time, I couldn't see the silver lining there. I couldn't be optimistic about my future. So I didn't stay upset for too long. I'm an optimistic person, a cup half full. And so I found and signed up for a workshop called Living with Chronic Conditions. I knew that while I couldn't control everything my body was doing, I could and should try to control everything else. So I arranged for my in-laws to watch my baby and headed off to the class hoping that I would learn something or find something to help me. And the workshop was about as successful as my first doctor's appointment with a rheumatologist. No one in the room was under the age of 75, and no one in the room had RA. And again, I was having a hard time staying optimistic about my situation. But I didn't give up. My RA wasn't going to give up. And then I saw an announcement about the San Francisco Arthritis Walk. It was going to be at Crissy Field in May, and I thought it sounded like it might be fun. So my husband and I went with baby James in the stroller, and when I got there and I registered, I received my blue hero hat. And I put it on, and I can immediately see the other heroes in the crowd. And there were all kinds of heroes. I saw kids, I saw teens, I saw young adults, and I saw men and women of all ages. I had a great time. And I felt included, I felt like I belonged, I felt supported, and I've walked every year since. So last year and this year, I joined the committee that helps put on the walk, because I wanted to try to give back since the Arthritis Foundation and the Walk to Cure Arthritis has given me so much. It's a great organization and a great event that I'm extremely proud to be a part of.